I was sat in my room one day, thinking about this, wondering just how I'd managed to fuck my life up so much already at the age of only 18. And I just wished I could start all over again. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here at Monkey Barrel Comedy Club. What a delight to be here. Welcome to the show. I like to do a quick vibe check, top of the show, figure out who we got in. Scottish people, give me a big cheer now. Fantastic. English people. Okay, slightly less confident. Okay, that's good. International people. Okay, yeah, we're in Edinburgh. Well, okay, that makes sense, okay? I want to make sure of the international people because it's quite a British show and I don't want to leave any of you behind, okay? So, internationals, where are we from? Feel free to shout it out. Canada! We have Canada, yes, okay, and Portugal, okay, very good. Let me just go through the Rolodex of Portuguese material I have. Nope, that's pretty empty, that Rolodex. Pastel del Natas. You're on the same time zone as us. Not funny, but factual. And that's about it, but welcome. Well, how did you, in the nicest possible way, why are you here? Am I big in Portugal? I didn't know? No, thank you. No, I'm from there. You're not big there or anywhere, okay? Are you just here on holiday and you saw a random thing? Yeah, okay.
Your name, Withnail.
Withnail, okay, because you like the movie, okay? Was that big in Portugal?
No. But...
No, okay, good. I was fantasising about a second life I could finally move to Lisbon, live off pastel del natas, and I could be a comedian there, but alas, no, okay? Neither I nor my namesake, okay? Lovely to meet you, sir. Do you have a Portuguese name? Miguel, very sexy. And so I want to make sure with my international friends that are here tonight that we don't leave you behind. So first reference, Miguel, have you ever heard of Dagenham? You should see Miguel's face right now. He looks like I just swore at him, okay? So Dagenham is a town just to the east of London. It's where I'm from, okay? And I'm very surprised it's not massive in Portugal. It's very famous place. I haven't lived there for a long time. I was chatting to an old friend from there recently. And due to Dagenham's proximity to London, I asked them, has gentrification come for Dagenham yet? And they said, yes. The Tesco now has a Costa coffee machine. Ooh. Watch out, Margate. There's a new cool town in town, right? Was laughing at this. My mate said, did you see Dagenham was in the news this week? And they sent me an article, and the article was called The Top 10 Unhappiest Places to Live in the UK, and Dagenham was number 2. Fuck yeah, right? People always want to know what number 1 is. It actually changes week by week. It just depends wherever Oasis have most recently performed. My mate said, you don't live in Dagenham anymore, right? You live in Edinburgh now? I said, yeah. I went to university there and just kind of stayed. And they said, oh, well, you moved. Did it work? Are you happy? And the question kind of threw me, right? It sent me on this journey. Started wondering, am I happy? How do you even quantify something like that? So I read that article that said Dagenham was so unhappy, saw how they decided that. They used something called the 4 pillars of happiness. These are 4 areas of your life, and if they're all individually going well, you can officially say you are happy. So I put my own life through this process. The first pillar of happiness was health. I thought, does my health make me happy? I started with my mental health. I would describe my mental health as fine. It's fine. It's fine, okay? And I think that is the best any of us could hope for. I think anybody who wakes up and says, my mental health is amazing, despite the horrors of the world, is a dangerous sociopath that needs to be watched. My mental health is fine, and that is fine. I've done a lot of work on my mental health. In fact, earlier this year, I celebrated 10 years of sobriety from alcohol and drugs. And thank you, 5 people and 1 person who attempted to start a round of applause. Thank you for that. I'll explain. People give up drinking for different reasons. Sometimes you'll meet someone and they're like, yeah, I had a glass of wine at a dinner party recently and it gave me a headache, so I've just decided not to do that anymore. Yeah. Whereas me, last time I went for a quiet drink after work, I ended up doing ketamine off a post box. So just not allowed to do that anymore. Now, it's been 10 years, but I still talk about alcohol and drugs a lot, and I think that confuses people because it's been so long. But the truth is, I'm reminded every single day that I am an addict. I may not be addicted to alcohol or drugs anymore, but I'm addicted to other stuff. I'm addicted to food. Get this, I eat every day. Sometimes first thing in the morning, you know, and I mean silly. What I mean is I abuse food in the way I used to abuse alcohol and drugs. I binge eat. I use it to control my feelings. I hide what I've been eating from my partner. I used to do that with empty vodka bottles and beer cans. I now do it with empty sweet wrappers and crisp packets. I wait until she's gone to bed. I have a little midnight feast. I then stuff all the wrappers into a backpack. You pick up the wrong bag in my living room, it looks like you're taking out Willy Wonka's recycling. I want to be clear, I don't do this because she would ever comment or pass judgment about how much I eat. The reason I hide it from her is I don't want to share. Get your own M&M's, sweetie. The silly thing is, she does the exact same thing as me. She hides what she's eating. At any one point, we could be sat in separate rooms of the same flat, secretly eating biscuits we don't want to give the other person. And that, I think, is marriage. I think that's beautiful. Few other parallels of when I used to drink. When I drank every day. I used to get embarrassed going to the same shop 2 or 3 days in a row to buy booze. I was convinced the staff there were judging me. Or the staff in that off-licence saw me buy booze yesterday. If they see me buy booze today, they're going to think I'm an alcoholic. Here's a clue. If you're ever worried about that, you're an alcoholic. That's how that works. But I do the same thing now. I won't go to the same shop 2 or 3 days in a row. I'm convinced the staff there are like, oh, here comes Donut Boy. Back for more donuts, Donut Boy. I have reason to think this. I went into my local shop recently, a Sainsbury's. I live next to a Sainsbury's. I'm doing very well. And I bought my favourite crisps, salt and vinegar chipsticks, OK? They're my favourite crisps because I believe that crisps should hurt. I took the crisps to the checkout. The man looked at them, looked at me, and then he said, oh, you like these, don't you? I have to move or murder this man, one of the two. Because of my binge eating, my weight fluctuates a lot. So early this year, I got a personal trainer for the first time. I met him online. Tell me if you think this is weird. I met him on Instagram because he DM'd me. That didn't feel good. It's supposed to be the other way round, right? You're supposed to reach out to a personal trainer. He saw me and went, there's a fucking client if ever I've seen one. We've got the before picture nailed, OK? My DMs are very different now I'm in my 30s. When I was in my 20s, my DMs were exciting. I would do comedy shows, and occasionally I would open Instagram. I might have a message from a sexy lady. Say, hey, I was at a gig last night. I think you're really funny. Also think you're quite fit. Maybe we should get dinner. Now I'm in my 30s, I open my DMs after gigs. It's just personal trainers trying to accrue business. Hey, I was at the gig last night. You're quite funny, but you are unfit. Let me help you. My personal trainer's name is Rob. He's a bit of a fucking geezer. And technically, he's not a personal trainer. Technically, he's an online coach. There's a difference. Personal trainer, you meet up with them once a week in the gym and they shout at you. An online coach can shout at you 24/7 via your mobile phone, right? He lives in my WhatsApp. He is my walking shadow. It's like having a Tamagotchi with abs. I don't like it. Every morning I wake up and the first thing I see is a message from Rob. I open my eyes, look at my WhatsApp, and the first thing I see every day is 5 muscle emojis. That's how I'm starting my day. Followed by the words, good morning, Liam. Are you ready to smash the day? Ready to smash this bag of Doritos, Rob? I don't know about the day. The day might have to wait. It's not good to have your personal trainer on Instagram. He likes to share motivational fitness memes, and they make me sad. I'll open Instagram, he shared a video, he's lifting some weights, and it'll say something really intense over it, like, pain is just your body telling you to push harder. I would love to print that off and take it to A&E. Some of their leg chopped off, they're bleeding out. I'm like, you sure you're in pain? Or are you just being a pussy? pussy, push harder. Let's take this up to the maternity ward, see how it goes down there. Push harder, ladies. I don't really mind going to the gym, I can handle that, but the nutrition is where I struggle, the aforementioned binge eating. So one day Rob said to me, Liam, I want you to download an app. The app is called My Fitness Pal. Everything you eat goes into the app. That way, I can track your calories and we can see where you're going wrong. I said, I know where I'm going wrong, Rob. I ate an Easter egg for dinner. I don't need a BTEC in sport science to work that one out. I hate My Fitness Pal. I hate it. It's tedious, it's joyless. Any little bit of fun you get from food immediately evaporates the second you have the cold, hard numbers reflected back at you. I hate the fact that it's called My Fitness Pal. This app is no pal of mine. My pal would never tell me how many calories were in a McFlurry I just had. My pal would know to keep that shit to himself. My pal certainly wouldn't then go and grass on me to my personal trainer about what I've been eating. Oh, Rob, Liam had an Easter egg. My fitness pal, my fitness rat. I've mentioned the Easter egg twice. I'll tell you what happened. I had a bad gig. It happens sometimes. You tell jokes, people don't laugh, feels bad. Now, most comedians, when that happens, they go out after, they get really drunk. I'm sober, I can't do that. So if I have a bad show, I go out and I buy loads of naughty food. So I was in Newcastle upon Tyne. I had a bad gig. I went at 11 o'clock at night to a 24-hour Big Asda, and I bought not one, but two massive Easter eggs. I took them back to my travel lodge, and I sat in my pants in the... Not normally a laugh there, but sure. If you've conjured up an image you find amusing, who am I to stop you, okay? I took them back to my travel lodge and I sat in my pants in the travel lodge cuck chair. And I got to work. An egg delicately balanced on each knee. We had a menage a trois. I ate that first egg in, I reckon, 90 seconds. It was fast, okay? Felt very sick. Then I started to eat the second egg. Then I felt more sick because I remembered I was going to have to input 2 Easter eggs to the MyFitnessPal app. I woke up to messages from my personal trainer going, Liam, what has happened here? I see from your app you ate 2 Easter eggs at 12:15 at night. Before anything else, mate, it's fucking November. Where did you... Doesn't matter, Liam, I see you got a sweet tooth. I'm going to give you some tips. Next time you feel like binge eating some chocolate, why don't you try having a protein bar? Why don't you go and fuck yourself, Rob? The bar he suggested was called a grenade bar. I'm sure you've seen these in the local shops. I think it's so funny that they are called grenade. It's just peak toxic masculinity, right? Because let's be clear, this is a health snack. But health companies know men won't buy that shit unless it's named after a violent weapon of war. Grenade! It's not gay! Grenade! It works. You see the gym bros at the vending machines. I love my grenade bar. What's your favourite flavour of grenade? I like birthday cake flavour grenade bar. That is a real flavour, by the way. Birthday cake flavoured protein bar, I think, is the saddest 5 words in the English language. Ernest Hemingway would read that and go, fuck, that's bleak, actually. That's... Baby shoes ain't got nothing on that shit. Rob said to me, Liam, the great thing about grenade bars is they're actually so dense, they're impossible to binge. Motherfucker, watch me. I had a bad gig. It happens sometimes. I went out, bought 11 grenade bars. Cost me 45 quid. Took them back to my travel lodge, ate about 5 of them, and it was difficult, to be fair. They are quite dense. My stomach started to cramp up. I was in a lot of pain. I thought I was going to have to stop, but then I remembered, pain is just your body telling you to push harder. Tell you, that was a phrase that came in handy 2 hours later when I was trying to shit out 11 grenade bars. They are dense. That's why they're called grenade. So, the question was, does my health make me happy? Kind of does, kind of doesn't. I suppose I would give myself half a tick for that pillar of happiness. The next pillar of happiness was your purpose. If you feel like your life has purpose, you're more likely to be happy. What does that mean? I guess it could mean your job, maybe your hobby. I'm very lucky. My hobby is my job. You would think that would make me happy. You would be mistaken, okay? It does most of the time. This is a privilege to do, but it's not without its annoyances. The biggest problem for me in comedy at the moment is that the job has changed so much from when I started. When I started comedy, it was very simple. All you had to do was turn up to the comedy club and be funny. That was it. Now, you've got to turn up to the comedy club, be funny, film yourself being funny, go home, edit yourself being funny, put subtitles over yourself being funny, upload yourself being funny, find the perfect clickbait caption so people actually watch you being funny. Comedian destroys polite Portuguese man. For example. Upload it to Instagram, watch the likes roll in. All comedy is on Instagram now, and there's a few consequences to that. The first one is, it has brought heckling into my home. Used to be, if you wanted to heckle me, you had to put a bit of work in. You had to find out where I was on, buy a ticket, take your seat, choose your moment. Only then could you say something hurtful like, hey, you look like homeless Brendan Fraser. Now, okay, big laugh for that today, that's hurtful. Someone said that 45 minutes into an hour-long show, which to me suggests they were sat there for 45 minutes like, this guy looks like Brendan Fraser. But not in a good way. Not in The Mummy, in The Whale! Put a lot of clips up on the socials. I've learnt a lot, to be honest. I put this joke up recently. It was just a quick joke about my dog. And the first platform I put it on was Facebook. Now, Facebook is where the boomers are. So if I ever get negative comments on Facebook, they'll have a classic boomer edge. So I uploaded quick joke about my dog. First negative comment, why are you doing jokes about dogs? Why don't you do some jokes about China? It's a classic boomer response. It's angry, it's entitled, it's racist in a way I don't understand. But here's the thing, same joke, I then put it on Instagram. Now, Instagram is where the millennials are. Any negative comments there have a classic millennial edge. Joke about a dog. First negative comment. Oh my God. Some people don't have dogs? It's a classic millennial response, right? It's socially conscious, but in the most annoying way possible. Finally, I put it on TikTok, where the Gen Z kids are. Any negative comments there will have a classic Gen Z edge. Joke about a dog. First negative comment. Wow. Whilst I didn't personally connect with your material, I thought the way you delivered it was a total slay. It's Gen Z! It's positive! It's affirmative! They're dancing! It's the one that annoys me the fucking most. Gotta tell you, it's not good for your self-esteem to sit in the house and watch videos of yourself all day. It's given me a bit of a complex about the way I look. This is the truth about why I've signed up with a personal trainer. Suddenly any insecurities you have are heightened to 11. And it bothers me that as a comedian, I should even have to think about how I look. Surely I should just have to be funny. That's it. Comedians in the 90s never used to have to worry about that. That's when I fell in love with comedy in the 90s. Used to stay up late watching comedy shows. I loved all different types of comedians, all different styles. One thing that united all of them, you'll remember, 90s comedians looked like shit. And I think that was a better time. You think Johnny Vegas has ever had to input 12 pints of bitter to the MyFitnessPal app? I don't think so. So does my purpose make me happy? Again, kind of, not entirely. I would give myself half a tick for that one. The next pillar of happiness was your location. Where you live can have a direct effect on how happy you are. That makes sense. I live here in Edinburgh, beautiful city. But I'm from this town I mentioned earlier. It's called Dagenham. And when people ask me why I moved from Dagenham to Edinburgh, I tell them I went to university in Edinburgh and I just kind of stayed. But the truth is, when I was 18 years old, I was living in Dagenham. I was very unhappy. It's a very small-minded place, Dagenham. In fact, whilst I was living there, the British National Party won a load of seats at local elections. Now, for the internationals in, the British National Party were a political party in the early noughties whose policies are just slightly to the left of Keir Starmer's Labour. But it was a small-minded place, and this was 2007 when I was 18. It was peak indie sleaze, and I was really into that. I used to wear my skinny jeans and my pointy shoes. I had my big back-combed hair. I used to walk up and down Dagenham High Street thinking I was so cool. And people used to stand outside the Wetherspoons and just stare at me from across the street like I was some kind of alien and just shout, "Oi! Oi! Are you gay? Are you fucking gay?" I'd be like, no, I just like the pigeon detectives. It's not necessarily the same thing. Now, looking back, only one of those things is something to be embarrassed about, and it's not being gay. But at age 18, I finished school. I felt like all my friends went off, got jobs, went to university. They seemed to know what they were doing with their lives. I didn't really know what to do. I knew what my dream was. My dream was I wanted to be an actor. But being from somewhere like Dagenham, we didn't know anyone who worked even remotely in the arts. We had no blueprint for how you would do that. So me saying to my parents, hey, when I grow up, I want to be an actor, I might as well have said, hey, when I grow up, I would like to be French. It's like, we wouldn't know where to start with that, you know? The closest we came, when I was 11 years old, we got our first desktop PC, and we had dial-up internet. And one day, I was left alone with the computer, and I did what any red-blooded 11-year-old boy would do when left alone with dial-up internet. I went to www.harrypotter.com. And on the main website, there was a big announcement. It said, we are making a series of Harry Potter films. We are having open auditions for the main cast. If you're 11 years old and you'd like to be an actor, simply record yourself reading your favourite paragraph from a Harry Potter book and post it to this address. I was so excited. I ran through to my mum. I was like, Mum, we need a camcorder. We need a Harry Potter book. We need it now. My mum, she's from Essex. This is what she sounded like. She went, darling, what are you talking about? Why do you need the Harry Potter book? Why do you need the camcorder? Calm down, talk to me, right? I pulled her through to the room. I made her read the screen. She went, I'm going to send to this address. And then she said, I'm sorry, darling. I can't let you do that. And I said, why, Mum? And she said, because the internet's full of paedophiles. I said, what? What? No, Mum, it's not paedophiles. It's the official Harry Potter website. She went, it might say that, darling, but you don't know who's in charge. It could be a complete monster behind that website. And in hindsight, so that was the end of my acting career. Aged 18, I did some research and I found out about something called drama school. Now, in this country, there's like 10 official drama schools. And all the famous actors you know from Britain probably went to one of these schools. They're very exclusive, very hard to get into. You have to audition. And I thought, that's okay. I can try out for these schools. But then I found out to audition for drama school, you have to pay the drama school you're auditioning for £50 for them just to see you. So if you want to see all 10 of them, that's going to cost you 500 quid. You put in accommodation and travel. You probably need the best part of £2,000 to just attempt to get into a drama school. And that is why I think actors from this country have names like Benedict Cumberbatch. There weren't many Benedicts in Dagenham, let me tell you. Oi, Benedict, are you fucking gay? So I thought, right, I'm going to have to take out a year, save up some money, and then I can audition. And that worked in my favour because I had heard that drama schools never accept 18-year-olds. They say at 18 years old, you're not emotionally mature enough to be an actor. You need to go see the world, meet new people, get something called life experience. Now, what I now know they mean by that is get your parents to fund a round-the-world backpacking gap year holiday. Because as we all know, only once you have taken mushrooms on a beach in Phuket, or been on a pub crawl in Amsterdam, or fingered a Slovenian girl at an Austrian youth hostel, are you ready to play Macbeth? Now, I didn't know this, so I got my own version of life experience. I got a part-time job at the Dagenham branch of Homebase, okay? It's a DIY store. and I decided to see all the different cultures and meet all the different people I could there. I didn't see much. I did see the best example of shoplifting I think there's ever happened, ever. I was working the till one day, and this man confidently walked in. He went over to the bathroom section, and he picked up a single plunger. He went over to customer services, and he said, "Hello, I would like to return this plunger." And they hadn't seen him pick it up. They said, "If you want to return something, you need the receipt. Did you bring your receipt?" He said, "Oh no, I left that at home." They said, "Unfortunately, you can't return it." And he said, "No worries," and then walked out the shop holding the fucking plunger. I saw the whole thing play out. I was like, I've just seen the Lionel Messi of shoplifting. Other shoplifters are in group chats going, "This guy's the fucking goat, man. He's unbelievable. He's changed the game." I was working part-time in Homebase. I had another job. This was a full-time position. I was 24-hour permanent tech support for my two parents. If you're a millennial, you will remember this. If you're Gen Z, you'll think you'll remember this, but you have no idea. If you're Gen Z, when you grew up, your parents knew how to use their phones. You know why? Because we taught them. And it was hard, okay? My mum was terrible with her phone. It was pre-smartphone. Our phones weren't smart. They were stupid. And at one point, she accidentally set her text messages to all caps, which meant every message she sent me had a level of urgency which would put the fear of God into my heart. I'd be out with my friends. I'd get a text, "What time are you home for dinner?" I'd be like, "Jesus Christ, I'm coming home. What's wrong?" "Phone your father!" "Oh my God, what? Why? What's happening?" "It's Father's Day!" Well, fucking hell. My dad was bad with tech as well. My dad is an Irish person. Do we have Irish people here today? Okay, I'm going to do an impression of my dad, and you're going to be offended by the noise that I make. I want you to understand it's actually a very good impression. I used to live with a guy from Dublin. I would do impressions of my dad all the time. My Dublin mate would be like, "Liam, now, come on, nobody sounds like that. That's offensive." Then he met my dad and was like, "Your dad is a leprechaun. That's mad." And my dad used to get that kind of unhinged boomer rage at tech problems. I'd be at school and my phone would ring from my dad. I'd be like, "Oh, this must be an emergency. Better step outside and take it." I'd answer the call. "What have you done to the television, you little bollocks?" "Is it plugged into the wall, Dad? Have you plugged it in at the wall?" "Ah, Jesus." It would be that. 2 or 3 times a week, I would say. So I was living at home, all my friends had moved away, I was working at Homebase, I was with my two parents. I was pretty unhappy at this point in my life, but then I was thrown a lifeline. I fell in love for the first time. And I'm sure you remember being 18 and falling in love and how stupid and unreasonable it all is. That's exactly what happened. I met this girl and her name was Alessandra. And I remember the first time I saw her, immediately I thought, "Oh, she's like me. She too does not belong in Dagenham." And by that I mean she was reading a book. Who is she? This is like an indie sleaze love story. She had a self-cut fringe, colourful tights, a nautical-themed scarf. I was in love, okay? It's like a Wes Anderson film, you know? We got chatting, we hit it off straight away. I asked her out, she said yes, I couldn't believe it. A couple nights later, we went on our first date. We went to Camden Town, the home of indie sleaze. We went bar hopping, drinking, laughing. It was a great first date, and I remember thinking, everything that I feel like has held me back in Dagenham here is worth something. She's interested in what I have to say. We have things in common. We like the same books and films, and she too likes the pigeon detectives. It was such a good date. We got the last train back to Dagenham. I was stood at Dagenham Heathway tube station saying goodnight to her, and I remember thinking, okay, Liam, if you're going to kiss her, right now is when you kiss her. And I said, "Goodnight." She went, "Goodnight, Liam." And I went, "Goodnight." She walked away. I was like, "You fucking idiot." Car pulled up, window rolled down. "Oi, are you fucking gay?" Maybe I am. I was so annoyed at myself, I went home and I sat in my room and I drank a bottle of vodka. This was not unusual at this point in my life. I was already drinking quite heavily at the age of 18, had been for a number of years. At this point in the show, I like to do a quick little survey to see how unusual that is. So we have a sort of young man here. Hello, sir. What's your name?
Joe.
Joe. Hello, Joe. Can I ask you how old you were first time you had a drink?
16?
16 years old. Do you remember what it was?
I think it was a blue WKD.
Hell yeah, okay. A blue WKD. Do they have those in Portugal? No, it's starting to sound like fucking anything. It's not me Withnail and I are blue WKDs. I don't know what you're getting up to. So what about you? First time you had a drink, Miguel?
14 red wine.
14 red wine. So European. That's gorgeous. I imagine it was given to you in school, like halfway through a class, for like passing your maths test or something. Well, not to flex, but I was 7. And I didn't realise we had so many dweebs in. And that sounds early, I'll explain. So growing up, my dad was a postman. That's where I get my great delivery from. Come on. Thank you very much. Who booed? Get the fuck out. So my dad was a postman, which means he would leave for work 6 a.m. He would come home about midday. So it sounds early, but remember, he's on a full day's work. Every day, he had the same routine. He'd get home at midday, he'd pour himself a pint of Guinness, he'd put his feet up, and he'd watch an old movie, Marilyn Monroe, something like that. He'd have one sip of his beer, and then inevitably, immediately, he would fall asleep. He did this every day. So one day, I'm 7 years old, my older brother is 9, and we sneak into the living room. And my brother goes, "Should we have a bit of Dad's beer?" And I was like, "Yeah." So my brother picks it up, has a sip, passes it to me. I had a sip, and immediately I went, "Oh, that's good." This should be the advert for Guinness, I think. I was 7 years old, I had one sip, and it completely fucked up my life. That's how good that drink is. I had a sip, my brother had a sip, I had a sip. Before you know it, we drank the whole pint. We were giggling so much. I said to my brother, "Should we pour another one and drink some more?" He said, "Oh, I'd love to, but I've got school in the morning." We went up to our rooms. A little while later, my dad wakes up. He sees what happens. He found it hilarious. He told all his mates down the pub that his boys had nicked his beer. We didn't get in trouble. We couldn't get in trouble. About a similar time period, I remember it was Christmas. Early December. One day, my brother, 9 years old, waits until we're all asleep, and then he sneaks down to the living room on his own, and he picks up mine and his advent calendars. He sits and he opens each individual cardboard door, and then he eats 48 chocolates. To be fair to him, grenade bars had not been invented yet. He goes up, goes to bed, we all come down in the morning, see 2 empty advent calendars on the floor. My mum goes, "What on earth has happened here?" And my brother goes, "I saw what happened. It was the cat." And my mum went, "That bloody cat. I can't believe it." "What do you mean, that bloody cat? You think a cat opened 48 cardboard doors? Doesn't have opposable thumbs." We couldn't get in trouble. First time I was drunk, I was a little bit older than 7. I was 13 years old, still younger than these losers. Me and some naughty boys went to a park in Hornchurch in Essex, and we drank 4 cans of Stella Artois each, okay? That's quite a strong beer. 4 cans of that would make most adults quite pissed. I was 13. I was cartoon drunk. I was falling all about the place. And it was early. I got back to my house about 7 o'clock in the evening. I vomited in my front garden. I was stood outside the front door knowing my family was still awake in the living room going, "Jesus, how am I going to blame this on the cat?" I knew I was going to have to pretend to be sober. Now, we've probably all pretended to be sober in front of our parents. I did everything you do when you're pretending to be sober. I spoke like a Regency-era gentleman. But I was 13 years old. I went in like, "Hello, Mother. Hello, Father. I am feeling rather unwell, for I had some questionable chicken nuggets from the local branch of McDonald's. I have a rather dicky tummy. I shall be retiring to my bed early. Good night, Mama. Good night, Papa." I woke up in the morning like, oh my God. It was so obvious I was drunk. I'm in so much trouble. I went down to the living room. My mum sat at the kitchen table. I'm like, "Morning, Mum." She's like, "Morning. How you feeling?" I'm like, yeah, okay. She's like, Liam, I'm so annoyed. I was like, yeah, I know. I've written a letter to that McDonald's. I can't believe they sold you dodgy chicken nuggets. We couldn't get in trouble. I was so annoyed about messing up my chances with Alessandra. I waited a couple of days. I texted her, asked her out for a second date. She said yes, we're back in the game. I scraped together all my home-based money. I chose the fanciest restaurant I could find. A couple nights later, I'm waiting there. She walks in. She looks so beautiful. My indie sleaze princess. She was wearing a T-shirt that said, I heart New York on it. And I don't think she'd ever been. We ordered drinks, we get chatting. I say, how's your week been? She said, yeah, it's been okay, but... Okay, I'll just tell you. Liam, I guess I'm having some trouble with my love life. And I went, oh? And she said, yeah. Liam, I've been seeing this guy, and I really like him, but I can't tell if he likes me because he won't make a move. And I just felt my heart vibrating in my chest. I just thought, this is it. This is it. I may not like where I live or have a plan. My friends might have been gone. None of that matters because I've got her now. But I was still so scared. So I said, well, if you feel that way, maybe you should just tell him. I bet he feels the same. She said, do you think so? I said, yes. She said, great. His name's Max. I'm seeing him tomorrow. Alessandra. When I tell you, I immediately burst into tears. She went, Liam, what's wrong? I said, Alessandra, don't you understand? That's how I feel about you. I love you. I love you. I think we can all agree, very cool thing to say on a second date. Especially a date that was not actually a date. The staff in the Toby Carvery thought we were pretty weird. I ran home, right? Deleted her number. I was already pretty unhappy up to this point, but after this, I began to spiral hard. I quit my job at the home base because I hated it so much. And then I had nothing really to leave the house for, so I would just wake up in the morning, wait a few hours, and then began drinking on my own in my room. Eventually, I ran out of money, so if I wanted to drink, I would have to wait for my dad to get home. He would sit down, put his feet up, pour a Guinness, put on Marilyn Monroe. I would creep into the living room, and now, aged 18, instead of taking a sip of Guinness, I would take a £10 note. I would go up to the shop, buy a little bottle of vodka, come back, sit alone in my room, and nurse that for the rest of the day. I did that every day for days, weeks, months. Sometimes not leaving the house for 3 or 4 days at a time, except to go and buy more booze. So I was getting unhappier and unhappier, until eventually I started to feel suicidal. Now listen, I know suicidal is a very big word to say in a comedy show, but the more astute of you will have observed that I did not do it. So everybody relax, okay? Now, it wasn't so much that I wanted to die, it was that I felt like my continued living was a burden on the people around me. One night I was really drunk. I told my parents how I was feeling. I let it all out, including the suicide stuff. Big mistake. They responded characteristically with love. But after that point, I felt like I was living under house arrest. People checking in on me, constantly walking on eggshells around me. Any idea of me moving out, completely gone. You can't leave until you get better. But I can't get better whilst I'm here. I was sat in my room one day, thinking about this, wondering just how I'd managed to fuck my life up so much already at the age of only 18. And I just wished I could start all over again. And the second I had that thought, it was like a runaway train. I thought, start all over again. What does that mean? What would that look like? Is that possible? What if I just packed a bag today and just left? Don't tell anyone where I'm going. Go somewhere new. Choose a new name. Be a new person. Start again. And the more I started to fantasize about this, the more it seemed like a good idea. I thought, I'm going to do this. I have to do it today before I chicken out, and I can't do it sober. So I ran up to the shop, bought a bottle of vodka, took it to the checkout. The man looked at it and went, oh, you like these, don't you? Took it back home, started to drink in my room, put together my 3-point plan for leaving home that day. First thing I had to get right, had to decide where to go. It had to be far away enough that no one would know who I was, but close enough that I could come back if I needed to. Now, I'd never been to Scotland, but I'd heard of the Edinburgh Fringe. All the comedians I loved, watched growing up, got famous there. And I thought, as a budding actor, that a city with an arts festival would be the best place to live. Wow, it has a whole Fringe festival. That must mean it's this year-round cultural hub. Yeah, don't know if you've been here in February, but turns out that was quite stupid. Moving to Edinburgh to be an actor because of the Edinburgh Fringe is a bit like moving to Qatar to be a footballer because of the World Cup, right? Quite naive. I didn't know this. I thought, I'll go there. I'll see what it's like. We'll go to Edinburgh. Thing two, I needed some money. I'd spunked all my cash on the Toby Carvery disaster. I needed enough money to move country that day. So I made an executive decision to borrow some cash from my parents. I knew where there was some money in the house. Weirdly enough, if we ever went on holiday, if there was any leftover foreign currency, my parents would stuff that in an egg carton and put that at the back of the fridge. They thought this was genius. No burglar's ever going to find that, are they? If they come into the house, last place they look is the egg carton in the back of the fridge. What, you think a robber's making an omelette? I don't think so, darling. I went down, grabbed the egg carton, took it up to the room, took the money out. It was full of dollars and euros and Turkish lira. Laid it all out, figured out how much money. It was about 500 quid, but not in money I could spend that day. I needed more. Then I heard my dad come home. He sits down, pours himself a Guinness, puts his feet up. Marilyn Monroe. I crept into the living room, and instead of taking a little sip of his Guinness or a £10 note, I took 2 debit cards from his wallet. I went to the local cash machine and I withdrew £300 from each one. I came back home, put the cards in the wallet, went up to the room, laid out all the cash. I had just over £1,000. I was 18 years old. I looked at that and went, wow, £1,000. Okay, so that will last me like a year. I started to pack a bag. I have to leave before my dad wakes up. If he sees me with a bag, he'll be suspicious. Then I hear the front door. It's my mum. She's home early from work. This fucks up everything. I go down to see what's going on. I said, Mum, you're home early from work? Yeah, I've had to come home early today. I've got to go pick up my bike from the garage. I'm pissed off, actually, because it's raining outside and I can't be bothered. I had an idea. Mum, I'll go get your bike. I said, you don't have to do that, darling. I said, no, Mum, you've been working. Sit down, have a cup of tea. I'll go get your bike right now. She said, thank you. That's very sweet. I went upstairs, grabbed my bag, came down to the front door, called out, bye, Mum, and then left. Went up to the local train station, and this is where I had to put in part 3 of my plan. I had told my parents I was feeling suicidal, so I knew if I just disappeared, they would phone the police, think something terrible had happened. I needed to leave them a note. Now, this is pre-smartphones, so my plan was I sent them an email. Not with much in it, just enough details that they wouldn't know where I was, but not enough that they would call the authorities. Now, when I was writing this show, I found the email that I sent them. And I'm going to read it to you now. Fair warning. This is not funny. There's like one line halfway through which is a little bit amusing, okay? But the rest of it is just the real email, okay? Audiences have been fine with it so far. I think you'll be okay. If it gets too much for you, you can just look at the little ducks on my phone, yeah? Do you like that? Quack, quack, quack. It does like that. Good, okay. It goes like this. We'll get through it together. Hello, Mum and Dad. Right, first things first, don't panic. I haven't gone to jump off a bridge or anything. I'm fine. I'm going away for a while. I'm telling you because I love you and I don't want you to worry. I can't tell you where I'm going. I need to be unknown for a bit. I also don't know when I'll be back. Might be a week, could be a few months. I've turned off my phone and we'll get a new number, so there's no point trying to call me. I have all your numbers, so we'll call you if I need you. Here's the hard part. Mum, Dad, I took some money. I'm a terrible person for doing this, and I know it. You will get it back, I promise. I've never expected either of you to fund my fucked up head, and I don't deserve it, so you're getting it back. I took the euros and the dollars from the fridge. Seriously, who keeps money in the fridge? Dad, I took 600 from your accounts. I'm so ashamed. I'm such a bad person. I'll send an email to this account at least once a week just to let you know that I'm fine. I might end up telling you where I am if I decide to stay there. I know I'm a fuck up. Mum, Dad, please don't think this is your fault. It isn't. I love you both. I'm excited. I'm going to be the person I want to be. Quack, quack, quack. Send the email. Now I text my mum. I said, Mum, I've sent an email to the desktop PC. Go read it now. It's important. She texts back, I can't remember my password! I said, you have to press forgotten password. It's going to ask you a security question. It's asking me my mother's maiden name! Is this a scam? It's not a scam. It's not paedophiles on the internet. This is information you gave them. Do you not remember? Then she must have got in because my phone started ringing. I couldn't hear her voice. I declined the call. She texted again saying, please answer. I said, no. A couple minutes go by. I get a text. All it says is, don't worry about the money. Please look after yourself. Call us anytime. We love you so much. And then I got a text from my dad. And all it said was, go well, son. That was all. Then I got another text from my dad. It said, do you know how to turn the subtitles off the fucking television? Jesus! That's a joke. I took the SIM card out of the back of my phone. I threw it out the train window. An hour later, I got to Heathrow Airport. I paid for a flight to Edinburgh with cash at the desk. 2007 was crazy. An hour and a half later, I landed at Edinburgh W.H. Smith International Airport. And I was stood in arrivals like, I hadn't thought much beyond this part. I'm now just a boy in a city he's never been before with £1,000 in stolen cash and no plan. I got in the back of a cab. I said, I need somewhere to stay, somewhere cheap. So he drove me to a youth hostel. Got in, lady on the desk. I said, I need somewhere to stay for a few nights. She said, we've got a bed in a dorm. It's 8 people a room. There's bunk beds, £15 a night. I said, perfect. Can we start with 3 nights? She said, yep, that'll be £45. I said, do you take Turkish lira? Well, okay. Got the money out. She started tapping away on the computer. She said, I need a name for the room. And I thought, well, hold up. If my parents have called the police, I'm on the missing list. The second my name goes into some system, it's going to get flagged up. Lights are going to start flashing. MI5 are going to jump through the window. They're going to drag me back to Dagenham. No way, Jose. I said, I need a new name. I said, my name is Max. And she said, Max what? And I said, Max Monroe. And she said, that's a cool name. I was like, yes! I'm such a good actor! And she said, Max, do you have any ID? I was like, no shit! I did have ID, but it did not say Max Monroe on it. I said, I don't have ID. She said, without ID, I can't check you in the room. And I said, please help. And I think she saw an 18-year-old boy with £1,000 in mixed currency in an envelope and an obviously made-up name and could tell I was in some trouble. So she said, there might be a way you can stay here. Not everybody pays. Some people work off their rent. If you do a couple hours cleaning in the morning, I don't have to put you in the computer. How does that sound? I said, that sounds perfect. She said, right, fill out that form. Your room's that way, common room's that way. Before you go in, there's a lot of money in that envelope and there's 7 other people sleeping in that room. Do you want me to put that in the safe? I said, do you have an egg carton? No, we'll try it your way, I suppose. Went and dumped my stuff down, went to the common room. If you've ever been to a youth hostel, you know what it was like. It was full of young people from all over the world, all chatting, laughing, playing music, drinking. I sat down. Within a few minutes, someone came and introduced himself to me. Within 20 minutes, I was sat in a big circle of people just chatting, getting to know each other. And once again, I felt, everything that has held me back in Dagenham here is worth something. It's cultural currency. People are interested in what I have to say. They like the same music and books. No one's asking me if I'm gay. One guy did, but he just wanted to shag me. And I thought, oh my God, I've done it. I've done it. I woke up this morning. I said I wanted to start again. And 11 hours later, here I am. I've done it. And I felt happy for the first time in months. I lived in that hostel for 6 weeks. Once a week, sending an email home, telling my parents I was okay. I made loads of friends. Someone helped me get a job in a local pub. Someone else helped me move out of the hostel and into a spare room. I also saw an advert for a local university. They were doing a drama course. It wasn't quite drama school, but at this point, I'd fallen in love with the city, and it seemed like a plan. So I sat in an internet cafe, filled out a UCAS form. 3 days later, I heard I was in. And that's when I called my mum. Told her where I was. She flew up the next day. I went and met her in a coffee shop. I cried. We hugged. I apologised. I said, Mum, I'm so sorry. How did you feel when I left? She said, Liam, I'll be honest, I was pissed off. I had to go get my bloody bike. I said, where did you think I was? She said, I knew you were in Edinburgh. I said, how? She said, when you left, I went in the computer and I looked at the Google search history. And the last 3 searches were, flights to Edinburgh, how much is a pint in Edinburgh, does Edinburgh have fit girls? I said, well, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you come up? She said, sometimes when you're a mum, you just have to let your kids think you don't know what they're up to. Just like all those years ago when your brother ate the advent calendar chocolate and blamed it on the cat. I said, you knew about that shit? Of course I fucking knew. You think a cat opened 48 cardboard doors? It doesn't have opposable thumbs. I said, oh God, and just like when I came home drunk when I was 13 and blamed it on chicken nuggets, she went, you fucking what? Now, that was 18 years ago. So I've lived in Edinburgh 18 years. I lived in Dagenham 18 years. That's why I wanted to tell this story this year. When I think of my location, whether or not it makes me happy, I give that one a big tick. The final pillar of happiness is relationships. You feel like you've got good relationships, you're more likely to be happy. I spent quite a long time talking about the location one, so I'll sum it up quickly. I'm happily married. I hide biscuits from my wife. It took me a few more years to get landed properly on my feet, get myself sorted out, pay back the money to my parents. When I think back to what I did all those years ago, there's a lot of regret, there's a lot of shame, but there's a small part of pride. I'm proud of 18-year-old Liam for not giving up and just doing something to try and make his life better, however crazy it was. I just want to reach back in time and shake my younger self and say, you don't have to do it like this. I can't do that. What I can do is I can respond to that email I wrote my parents all those years ago. And so I'm going to read you that now. This one has a lot more jokes. Dear Liam, this is Liam. Chill the fuck out, bro. So No, I'm kidding. Liam, you don't have to do this. I know you're scared and you feel like this is the only option, but trust me, you could literally just go to university like a normal person and you'll get what you need instead of running away at the age of 18. I don't think it's even called running away if you're 18. It's just moving out. You're going to do it anyway, so listen. It's going to be fine. Your life is going to be fine. Great, even. It's been 18 years. Guess what? You're a stand-up comedian. You've travelled the world doing comedy, and you've gigged with a lot of the people you used to watch on TV. Turns out, a lot of them, not good guys. You're still in Edinburgh. You still love it. You're sober. I know you don't want to hear that, but the next few years are going to be rough and you'll wish you did it sooner. The older you get, the more you'll realise how scary this was for your parents and you will punish yourself for years. They forgave you immediately. You'll forgive yourself eventually. One day, someone will tell you that pain is just your body telling you to push harder. You know that's not true. Pain is a part of life. The trick is learning how to cope with it, not by drinking, not by eating Easter eggs in a travel lodge, but by processing it. And for you, when you're ready, facing it head on, and maybe even turning it into something new. Go well, son. Liam. P.S. In 2015, go and put a tenner on Leicester City to win the Premier League. Just trust me. PPS, when you arrive at the hostel and they ask for a name, for the love of fucking God, don't say Max Monroe. It's not a cool name and you will cringe yourself to sleep for years. Final thing I tell you, I was sat on my phone very recently. I just uploaded a clip to Instagram, joke about my dog. And I was reading the comments. It was all the usual stuff, homeless Brendan Fraser and personal trainers trying to sign me up. But one comment stood out. All it said was, ha ha ha, love heart. But then I saw the name, Alessandra. And I was 18 all over again. I clicked on it. It was her. She looks the same. I scrolled her profile for a couple hours. She's married now. She has kids. I found her husband's profile, scrolled that for a couple hours. Put his name into Google, found him on LinkedIn. He's in the Merchant Navy. Okay, bro. Found her kids on TikTok. That is a joke. I waited a day and then I sent her a message. She said, hey, Alessandra, I can't believe it's you. You look great. I hope you're well. She replied, Liam, I couldn't believe it. I heard you were doing comedy. It came up in my reels. It was so funny. You were always so funny. I said, are you still in Dagenham? She said, unfortunately. I said, has gentrification come for Dagenham yet? She said, yeah, the Tesco's got a Costa coffee machine. I said, I'm nicking that. She sent me an article that told me Dagenham was the second unhappiest place in the UK. I laughed. She said, you don't live there anymore, right? You live in Edinburgh now? Why's that? I said, I just went to university there and kind of stayed. She said, did it work? Are you happy? I said, you know what? I think I am. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. My name's Liam Withnail. You've been a wonderful audience. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.